Welcome back again to another class. Hope you have enjoyed the story. Whatever we are dealing with Cinderella. Do you remember Cinderella? Cinderella is a very interesting character. And we are going to enjoy the story again. Let us look back the story. So Cinderella is a is a girl. A girl. Her mother died and his mother married again a woman. She was very unkind or cruel, and she had two daughters already, that is stepsisters of Cinderella. And how the name derived, you know how the name came, because she was always sleeping in the center near the hearth, adupinde, and she was always dirty and dusty and dirty, and her dress, all beautiful dresses were taken away by her stepsisters, and they treated her very cruelly. So there we stopped, and she was called Cinderella. Do you remember? I had given you 4 questions to answer. So let me read the answers. You just check your answers in notebook. So before that, take your notebook first. Notebook and textbook. Question is there. What advice did the dying mother give her? Mother advised her to be good and pious. You should be good girl and pious, and God would help her. God would look after her, and she would also look upon her from heaven, and she will be with her. So these were the advices given by the mother who was dying. Dying mother gave such an advice. Question number 2. What happened to the mother's grave when the winter came? When the winter came, the grave was covered with white snow. Was covered with white snow, or the snow covered with white snow. Snow means, you know what is snow? Moodal manya. Okay. Next, question number 3. Cinderella was ill-treated by the stepmother and sisters. What could be the because their mother was very unkind and cruel and proud. Unkind and cruel, same. And sisters were wicked and ugly, and moreover Cinderella, our character, she was very beautiful, and they may have jealousy. Our kasuya thonittundavu. That is why, maybe the reason. One more question we discussed in last class. What was that? Why is Cinderella called so? I also already explained in the introduction. What was that? Cinderella sleeps in the hearth, and there was cinters. So she was always looks dusty and dirty. So she was called by her stepsisters, she was called Cinderella. Okay, now let us come back to the class again. So you may please take page number 43, textbook page number 43, 42 and 43. Can you see the picture there? Can you see the picture? Cinderella, black, almost black color, and she was doing the household activities near the hearth. Adupilando joli cheyyunnundu, and the stepmother and her daughters, they are sitting on chairs, and they are not doing any work. All the works are doing Cinderella. What do you feel? Do you feel sympathy? ഇത്തരം പീഡനങ്ങൾ അനുഭവിക്കുന്നവർ നമ്മൾ വാട്ട് ഡു യു സേ? ന്യൂസ് റിപ്പോർട്ടിൽ എന്ത് ചെയ്യണമെന്നാണ് പറഞ്ഞത്? ഇതൊരു സ്റ്റോറി മാത്രമാണ്. അപ്പോൾ ഇനിയിപ്പോൾ ആർക്കും വിളിച്ചു പറയുമൊന്നും വേണ്ട കേട്ടോ. ഡോണ്ട് കോൾ എനിബഡി. 1098 വിളിക്കുകയൊന്നും വേണ്ട, 1098 വിളിക്കുകയൊന്നും വേണ്ട. ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് ഓൺലി എ സ്റ്റോറി. ബട്ട് ഇൻ റിയൽ ലൈഫ്, ഇഫ് യു സീ സച്ച് ഇൻസിഡൻറ്റ്, യു ഷുഡ് ട്രൈ ടു ഹെൽപ്പ് ദം. അവരെ സഹായിക്കാൻ പറ്റാവുന്നതെല്ലാം നമ്മൾ ചെയ്യണം. Okay, come back. Next, the magic begins. Where is the magics are here? Magic begins. Okay, let us see what is the magic. One day, the young prince of the land invited all the young girls of the kingdom to a ball, planning to choose his princess from amongst them. Cinderella's sisters were delighted on hearing this invitation. They selected the best gowns, they dressed their hairs, but they were not taking Cinderella with them. You can go when the beggars hold a ball, they told her. Comb our hair, brush our shoes, and make our buckles fast. We are going to the princess' ball. When she heard this, Cinderella could not help crying. For she too liked to go to the party. She begged her stepmother to take her along. What? You, Cinderella, in all your dust and dirt, you want to go to the ball? You have no dress and no shoes. You want to dance? She turned her back to Cinderella and hurriedly set out with her two proud daughters. When Cinderella lost sight of her two proud daughters, she felt very sad. She started crying. Tears rolled down her cheeks. She thought of her own mother. If my mother had been alive, she would have sent me to the ball. Okay, let us look what is the magic is there. One day the young prince of the land invited all young girls to the kingdom to a ball. Girls of the kingdom to a ball, planning to choose his princess from amongst them. So the princess, Rajakumaran, he wanted to marry a girl. So what did she do? She invited all girls, all young girls, unmarried ആയിട്ടുള്ള കല്യാണം കഴിച്ചുള്ള എല്ലാ ഗേൾസിനെയും ഇൻവൈറ്റഡ് ടു എ പാർട്ടി ടു ഹിസ് പാലസ്. രാജകുമാരൻ കൊട്ടാരത്തിലേക്ക് ഒരു പാർട്ടിക്ക് ക്ഷണിച്ചു. ഇൻവൈറ്റഡ് ഓൾ, ഗിവ് ഇൻവിറ്റേഷൻ. Cinderella's sisters were delighted on hearing this invitation. And Cinderella's sisters, step-sisters, they were very happy to hear such an invitation. കാരണം അവർക്കും പോകാം. And if the princess like them, like one of them, he will marry them and they will become the princess. അപ്പോൾ പ്രിൻസാണ് ക്ഷണിച്ചിട്ടുള്ളത്. പ്രിൻസസ് ആകാൻ, രാജകുമാരി ആകാനുള്ള ഒരു സുവർണാവസരമാണ്. But they selected best gowns. These sisters, best gowns. They dressed their hairs. മുടിയൊക്കെ ഡ്രസ്സ് ചെയ്ത് പിന്നെ മെടഞ്ഞൊക്കെ ഇടൂല, അതാണ് ഡ്രസ്ഡ് ഹെയർസ്. They were not taking Cinderella with them. Cinderella is also a maiden, a young girl, but they are not taking. ഓളെ കൊണ്ടുപോകുന്നില്ല. യു ക്യാൻ ഗോ വെൻ ദ ബെഗേഴ്സ് ഹോൾഡ് എ ബോൾ. ഇത് രാജകുമാരനാണ് പാർട്ടി സംഘടിപ്പിക്കുന്നത്. വെൻ ബെഗേഴ്സ് ഹോൾഡ് എ ബോൾ, വെൻ ബെഗേഴ്സ്, ബോൾ മീൻസ് ഹിയർ BALL ബോൾ എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ പന്താണ്. ബട്ട് ഹിയർ എ ഡാൻസ് പാർട്ടി, ഒരു ഡാൻസ് പാർട്ടിയെ ബോൾ എന്ന് പറയും. ടോൾഡ് ദർ, നീ വല്ല ബെഗേഴ്സ് മീൻസ് യാചകരൊക്കെ വല്ല പാർട്ടി നടത്തുമ്പോൾ യു ക്യാൻ ഗോ. നൗ കോംബ് അവർ ഹെയർ, മുടിയൊക്കെ വൃത്തിയാക്കൊണ്ട. ബ്രഷ് അവർ ഷൂസ് ആൻഡ് മേക്ക് അവർ ബക്കിൾസ്. ബക്കിൾ, യു നോ വാട്ട് ഈസ് ബക്കിൾ? ബക്കിൾ എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ ബെൽറ്റിൻ്റെ ഒക്കെ ബക്കിളുണ്ട്, അതൊക്കെ ടൈറ്റ് ആക്കിക്കൊണ്ട. ഞങ്ങൾ ഒരിക്കൽ ഷി ബെഗ്ഡ് ഹെർ സ്റ്റെപ്പ് മദർ Cinderella were going to princess ball and make our buckles. We are going to the princess ball. ഞങ്ങൾ പോകുന്നതേ പാർട്ടി ഓഫ് പ്രിൻസസ്, രാജകുമാരൻ്റെ പാർട്ടിക്കാണ് പോകുന്നത്. When she heard this, Cinderella could not help crying. Cinderella began to cry. Could not help crying. കരയാതിരിക്കാൻ കഴിഞ്ഞില്ല, കരയിൽ നിന്നും മാറി നിൽക്കാനായില്ല. That means she cried. She heard this, Cinderella could not help crying, for she too liked to go to the party. She was also wanted to go to the party. She begged her stepmother to take her along. Begged, stepmother, please take me also. ഞാനും കൂടെ പോരട്ടെ. What? You, Cinderella, in all your dust and dirt, ഈ വൃത്തികെട്ട രൂപം വെച്ചിട്ടാ, ഈ അഴുക്ക് പുരണ്ട വസ്ത്രമൊക്കെ വെച്ച്, how you wanted to go to the ball? നിനക്ക് പാർട്ടിക്ക് പോകണം, ഡാൻസ് പാർട്ടിക്ക് പോകണം, ഈ വൃത്തികെട്ടതും വെച്ചിട്ട്. She turned her back to Cinderella and hurriedly set out with her two proud daughters. She turned her back. തിരിഞ്ഞു നിന്നിട്ട് to Cinderella and hurriedly set out. Set out means started. യാത്ര ആരംഭിക്കുന്നതിനാണ് set out എന്നറിയാം. Set out. That means started. Started journey. Started. Set out means started, especially journey. അതിനെ set out എന്നറിയാം. Write the word if you set out with them, with the daughter, with her daughters, with her two proud daughters. When Cinderella lost sight of them, അവർ പോയി മറിഞ്ഞപ്പോൾ sight of them, she felt very sad. She was very, very sad and she started crying. Tears rolled down her cheeks. And she thought of her own mother. She thought about her own mother, അവളുടെ അമ്മ. And she was died. She thought of her own mother. If my mother had been alive, she would have sent me to the ball. If my mother was alive, she thought, if my mother was alive, she would have taken me to the party. She thought. Suddenly, she heard a voice. There was a voice. You will certainly go to the ball. നീ പോകും. To the ball. പാർട്ടിക്ക് നീ പോകും. You will certainly. I am your fairy godmother. I am your fairy godmother. ഞാൻ നിൻ്റെ ദേവതയാണ്. Fairy godmother. Cinderella turned around. She saw a fairy standing in front of a fairy, ഒരു ദേവത. Fairy, she was standing in front of her. I am the queen of fairies. ഫെയറികളുടെ രാജ്ഞിയാണ് ഞാൻ. I am the queen of fairies, she said. I will send you to the ball. Well, said her godmother, be a good girl. Okay, be a good girl. നീ നല്ല കുട്ടിയാവ്. And I will contrive that you shall go. I will think about how എങ്ങനെ കൊണ്ടുപോകാന്നുള്ളതിനെ. Think of a plan. Let me think about it. You be a good girl. I will contrive. Contrive means think of a plan. Contrive means contrive. CONTRIV. Of think of a plan. ഒരു പ്ലാനിനെ കുറിച്ച് ആലോചിക്കുക. ഞാനൊന്ന് ആലോചിക്കട്ടെ. How can I do? How can I help you? So, you be good. She went with Cinderella into her chamber. Chamber means, what is chamber? What is the meaning of chamber? Chamber എന്നല്ല room എന്നാണ് അർത്ഥം. If you want, you can write chamber. CHAMBER. Chamber, room. She went to her room. Who is she? The godmother. The fairy. She went into her chamber and told her, run into the garden and bring me a pumpkin. She asked, you go to the garden. Garden enna തോട്ടം പൂന്തോട്ടം മാത്രം ഉദ്ദേശിക്കേണ്ട, പച്ചക്കറി തോട്ടത്തിനൊക്കെ ഗാർഡൻ ഇവിടെ ഉദ്ദേശിക്കും. So go to the garden and bring me a pumpkin. What is pumpkin? PUMPKIN. pumpkin. pumpkin എന്നിട്ട് നഴ്സറിയിൽ നിങ്ങളുടെ റൈമൊക്കെ മത്തങ്ങ. ഓക്കെ. Bring me a pumpkin. She could get bring me a pumpkin. Okay. She went, Cinderella went immediately to gather the finest pumpkin she could. So she went to the garden and brought a finest pumpkin and brought it to her godmother. She could not imagine how this pumpkin could help her to the ball, to go to the ball. ഈ pumpkin മത്തങ്ങ കൊണ്ട് ഇപ്പം എന്ത് ചെയ്യാനാ? She thought about. ഞാനും ഡാൻസിന് പാർട്ടിക്ക് പോകാനും മത്തങ്ങ എന്താ അപ്പോൾ? സോ ഇതാണ് പായസം വെക്കാനാണ്, പായസം വെച്ചിട്ട് പ്രിൻസിന് കൊടുക്കാനോ അങ്ങനെ ചിന്തിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ടാണ് ഒരു പക്ഷേ. സോ വാട്ട് ഈസ് ദാറ്റ്? ഷി കുഡ് നോട്ട് ഇമാജിൻ ഹൗ ദിസ് പംകിൻ, ഷി കുഡ് നോട്ട് ഇമാജിൻ, ഊഹിക്കാൻ കഴിഞ്ഞില്ല what can we do, what will be, what could help her go to the pumpkin. The fairy, the godmother, waved a magic wand over the pumpkin. Suppose this is the pumpkin. What did she do? She waved a magic over that, and it suddenly became. What happened? Suddenly the pumpkin changed into a red coach. It became a red coach. Just അത് ഒന്നിങ്ങനെ മാജിക് വാൻഡ് കൊണ്ട് ഒന്നിങ്ങനെ തടവിയുള്ളൂ. It became a. What happened? It became a red coach. Then fairy said, You will travel in this coach to the palace. Now you can go to in this coach. In this coach you can go to the palace. Palace of the prince. രാജകുമാരൻ്റെ കൊട്ടാരത്തിലേക്ക് പോകാൻ നിനക്ക് വാഹനമായി. Okay. Oh, but we must have horses to draw it. വണ്ടി ഓട്ടോമാറ്റിക് പോകില്ല, അത് ഗിയറുള്ള വണ്ടിയൊന്നും അല്ലല്ലോ, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ പെട്രോൾ അടിക്കുന്ന വണ്ടിയല്ല. ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് എ കോച്ച്. കോച്ച് രഥമൊക്കെ കണ്ടിട്ടില്ലേ, അതുപോലത്തെ. സോ വി മസ്റ്റ് ഹാവ് ഹൗസസ്. ഇനിയിപ്പോൾ അത് വലിക്കാൻ കുതിരകൾ വേണമല്ലോ. ദർ ഇസ് എ മൗസ് trap. Next page, take page number 44. There is a mouse trap in the backyard of your house. Bring it to me. This fairy പറഞ്ഞു, ഈ ദേവത പറഞ്ഞു, you go to the back of the house and there is a mouse trap. Mouse trap means എലിക്കണി അല്ലെങ്കിൽ എലിയുടെ കൂട്, എലിക്കൂട്. there is a mouse trap in the backyard of her. Bring it to me. Go and bring it. Cinderella went out and brought the mouse trap. She brought it. There were 6 mice in them. There were 6 mice, ചുണ്ടനെലികൾ, mice, mice, mice പ്ലൂരലാണ്. അപ്പോൾ മൈസ് എണ്ണം കൂടുതലാകുമ്പോൾ, ഒന്നിൽ കൂടുതലുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ മൈസ് എന്ന് പറയും. മൗസ് ഒന്ന്, മൈസ് ഇറ്റ്സ് പ്ലൂരൽ. ബ്രിങ് ഇറ്റ് ടു മീ. ഷി ബ്രോട്ട് ആൻഡ് ദർ വർ 6 mice. ഹൗ മെനി mice ആർ ദർ? ദർ വാസ് 6 numbers. The fairy waved the magic wand over it. അതിൻ്റെ മുകളിൽ ഈ ചുണ്ടലികളുടെ മുകളിൽ ജസ്റ്റ് വേവ്ഡ് ഹെർ മാജിക് went again over it and all the mice were turned into 6 white houses. They became white. By magic the fairy changed them into white houses. Now 6 houses. So now the vehicle is ready and the houses are ready. അല്ലേ, ഇനി പോകുക വേണ്ടുള്ളൂ. Ready. Looking at the coach and the house, the fairy said, now we have a coach to travel and 6 houses to draw. വലിക്കാൻ കുതിരകളുമായി. Everything is okay. But we have you haven't any footmen. പക്ഷേ നിന്നെ സപ്പോർട്ട് ചെയ്യാൻ ഫുട്മാൻ, അതായത് അനുചരന്മാർ, അത് ഒപ്പം യാത്ര ചെയ്യുന്ന ഫുട്മാൻ, പരിചാരകര്. You not have footmen. Go again to the garden and you will find 6 lizards behind the watering pot. Behind the watering pot there is 6 lizards are there. There are 6 lizards behind the watering pot. Bring it them. അവരെ കൊണ്ടുവരൂ, അതൊന്ന് കൊണ്ടുവാ. The fairy changed them into footmen. Lizards, they changed lizards into footmen. Now footmen are there. What is called coach is there. Horses are already there. Footmen bowed at her. Footmen bowed. We are ready. We are ready to help you. Bowed there. They wore blue and yellow clothes. There, blue and yellow clothes. Then Cinderella was very happy to see them, but she became sad. ഇങ്ങനെയൊക്കെ ആയിട്ടും she was sad. Why was she sad? Can you say why she is so sad? Who can say? Why? Yes, her dress was very ugly. That was the reason. Footman, she was very she looked at her horse. She looked at her. Cinderella was very happy to see them, but she sad when she looked at her clothes. But I cannot go in the rags, she said. How can I go with the rags? Rags means കീറത്തുണികൾ. But rags means dirty dresses. കേട്ടോ, കീറത്തുണികൾ, അതാണ് rags എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ. RAGS. You should write the meanings. Okay, should write the meanings. Rags, she said. I will give you wonderful clothes, don't worry. The fairy said, I will give you clothes. The fairy touched Cinderella with her magic wand. What happened? What happened? Fairy said, touched Cinderella magic wand. Her rags changed to beautiful cloths of silk and gold. Beautiful cloths of silk and gold. There were diamonds in her hair. മുടിയിൽ വരെ ഡയമണ്ട്സ് ആയിരുന്നു. Her hair, and she wore 2 pretty glass shoes, and shoes were not wooden, it was glass shoes. Then the fairy said, you can go to the ball now. Okay, you may go to the ball now, but remember, one thing you should remember. What will happen? Remember, the magic ends at 12 o'clock. രാത്രി 12 മണിയാവുമ്പോൾ the magic will magic will stop. Automatically, the coach will become pumpkin. This horses will become mice, and your footman will become lizards, and your dress will become rags, old. So beware. Don't forget, at 12 o'clock, you must return home before that time. Okay? So, now, next day, we will see how Cinderella is appearing in the princess court, in the princess palace. Cinderella is ready to go to the party. Her sisters was already gone. Stepsister, mother, and she was alone in the house. At that time, this fairy came, godmother came, and she was changed into beauty. Her dress was changed into beautiful dress, and she made a coach with using pumpkin, etc. So let us look the questions. How many questions still? From 5 to 8. 5 to 8. Let us look at the questions. You have to write the answers. You can go with the beggars who hold a ball. What would be the feelings of Cinderella to this comment? Beggars in the ball and beggars in the dance part and you can go. What will be the feeling of Cinderella? Or what will be the feeling of that girl? You have to write the answer. She will be sad or something like you can write the answer. And if my mother had been alive, she would have sent to me the ball. Why does Cinderella think so? എൻ്റെ അമ്മ ജീവിച്ചിരുന്നെങ്കിൽ എന്നെ കൊണ്ടുപോകുമായിരുന്നു. Why does Cinderella think so? Stepmother. Why? എന്തുകൊണ്ടായിരിക്കും? The stepmother took her daughter. She did not take Cinderella. So she thought so. So you have to write the answer. 2 more questions we have to write it. It's very easy questions are there. What changes occurred to the following things? എന്തൊക്കെ മാറ്റാം? Pumpkin. What happened to pumpkin? You know the answer. What happened to pumpkin? Became a red coach. Then mice. What happened to mice? White houses. Then lizards. See, lizards. What happened to lizard? Lizards. Footmen. 6 lizards. Then rags. മുഷിഞ്ഞ ക്ലോത്ത് വസ്ത്രങ്ങളൊക്കെ മുഷിഞ്ഞ ഗ്രേ കളറുള്ള വസ്ത്രങ്ങളൊക്കെ ഒന്ന് മാജിക് വാൻഡ് കൊണ്ട് ടച്ച് ചെയ്തപ്പോൾ what happened? It became beautiful clothes of silk and gold. Then I think one more question is there. What will happen to Cinderella if she cannot return home before 12 o'clock? Suppose she did not return back at 12 o'clock, what will happen? She will become return back to the old position, original position ആയി മാറും. Original ഫോമിലേക്ക് മാറും. And what was the original form? The magic will end at 12 o'clock and all the things will change or return to original form. What means that what will happen to red coach? Red coach in the സംഭവിക്കും? It will become pumpkin. Okay. Then what will happen to white houses? Become mice. Then what will happen to footmen? Footmen become lizard. And what will happen to her clothes? It will become ugly and dirty. So that will happen at 12 o'clock. Okay. Now let us stop here now. We'll see you again in the next class. So here also you have to write 4 question and answers. Don't forget to write the question and answers. Before you writing the question and answers, some words are there. I had written a lot of words in the board. So you have to write those words. If you don't know the meaning, you should write in your notebook and its meanings also. Then you have to start writing question, then its answers. You should write a question answer. Take a picture and send it to me today itself. Don't forget to write. All of you should send to me the question and answers and also the meanings. Thank you. Have a nice day. We will meet you again in the next class.